So two really important jobs for February. First off is planting garlic. If I haven't overwintered garlic, then I'm going to plant it early in February to get a really good growing season. First off is split up some old bulbs from last year. Usually I use about 4, split them into their various different segments. Usually you can use all the segments. If there's any tiny little ones, then maybe chuck them away, but most tend to be perfectly good. Next, I lay them out in a grid on the bed. Before pushing them into the soil, I just want to see where I'm setting everything, so I put them 15 centimeters apart in a square grid. I have different distances marked out on this dibber. That way I know exactly where I'm planting, but obviously you can use a piece of wood or you can use a measuring tape or something like that. The most important thing is that before you plant them, you lay them out so you know where your crops are going to grow and that you've got the right spacings between each of them. So to plant them, basically I just take the root end and push that down into the ground, making sure that the whole bulb is covered up. Very simple. You just push it deep enough that the tip of the bulb is gone and then pat it in. And then 6 months or so, you should have a lovely crop of fresh garlic. Next up is raspberry canes. You get 2 types of raspberry canes. You get summer fruiting and autumn fruiting. The summer fruiting varieties, the fruit grows on last year's canes. So you leave them and you would cut them down later in the year. But for the autumn fruiting varieties, they fruit on the growth from this year. So the key is to chop down all the old growth that you had last year in February down to sort of an inch or so off the ground, and that encourages new growth, and that's where you get your lovely fresh raspberries this autumn. So 2 different approaches, but if you have summer fruiting and autumn in your garden, it means that you get a long growing period where you get lots of delicious fruit. So it's worth having 2, but it's also a good idea to keep them separate so you know which is which. Once you're done, just take the old canes and chuck them onto the compost pile or use them for something. All good.